If you've watched the second season of Squid Game, you're probably as eager as we are to see what the third season has in store. But have you noticed all the small hidden details scattered across various scenes in the episodes? For instance, we see the same cards handed out in the first season by the recruiter being given to participants in the new game. In the second season, this happens twice. The first time is when the cryptocurrency YouTuber receives the card from the same recruiter. And if you pay attention, the numbers on the card are 4-5-6-0-3-4. It's intriguing to see the number 456 appearing once again, hinting at the total number of players who might participate in the deadly game. The second time we see a card appear in the second season is when NoEUL receives it and calls to return as a staff member in the game. The numbers on NoEUL's card are 001034. This time, the clue isn't about the number of participants, but instead indicates that there is always a spy among the players, and that spy is always player 001. However, this time, it's not Il-Nam, it's the front man. Speaking of NoEUL, before we learned she was one of the game's masked triangle staff members authorized to carry weapons, she crosses paths with Gi-hun on the staircase of the migrant aid office. At that moment, she stops and looks at the protagonist of the series, which doesn't make much sense, until we later discover she already knew him from a previous edition of the games. Later, in a conversation with her leader, it's revealed that she has known him for 7 years. This means she has been responsible for countless deaths during her years as a game employee. Noticing these small details while watching the new season of Squid Game blew our minds. Want to experience the same feeling? Then stick with us until the end of this video. You might not know this, but shortly before the show's release, South Korea experienced political turbulence, including an attempt to impose martial law. Since South Korea is technically still at war with North Korea, we see subtle nods to the population's underlying fears in some episodes. For example, in the home of ex-detective Junho's mother, you can spot a significant number of bottled water packs in the background. This is a common measure during times of emergency or war. In our previous video, we discussed how the color pink was repeatedly used as an Easter egg throughout the second season. We've now uncovered another recurring Easter egg in the series, the cross symbol. For example, this is the emblem used by the game's workers to mark the coffins of people whose organs would be harvested and sold on the black market. Every coffin marked with a blood cross was set aside for the doctor's gruesome work. Additionally, the rapper participant known as Thanos wears a crucifix as an accessory. However, it's actually a hidden container for synthetic drugs that he uses during the game. Similarly, when player 007 is searching for his mother during mealtime and realizes she's missing, you can spot what appears to be a cross symbol in the background. This indicates that the inclusion of the cross symbol was intentional. Speaking of player 007, we can't ignore the historical significance of his number. It's a direct reference to the world's most famous spy, the suave James Bond.
Mr.
Bond. James Bond.
Interestingly, the actor portraying player 007 is Yang Dong-gun. Like the actor playing Thanos, Yang Dong-gun is also a renowned rapper in his home country. Continuing with player numbers, there's something intriguing here. The new player, who was a cryptocurrency trader before going bankrupt, is assigned number 333, a sequence of identical digits. Similarly, his ex-girlfriend, who is expecting his child, has a matching number pattern. She is player 222. This subtle detail connects the two as a couple, though it's certainly a sinister move by the frontman. Speaking of the frontman, practically the embodiment of evil, if you're as excited as we are to see how Gi-hun will bring him down, leave a comment below saying frontman. When Gi-hun enters the white limousine, we see the golden pig that acts as a speaker, just like the money pig we mentioned in the previous video. What's interesting is that when we watched the episodes for the first time, we didn't notice that the golden pig is fixed on top of a chessboard. This indicates that everything, absolutely everything, for the frontman is related to games, especially mental ones. Speaking of the devil, the frontman, something that almost no one noticed is that the mastermind behind the twisted games is left-handed. This becomes evident when he infiltrates Gi-hun's team. During the challenge where the group of 5 people must complete 5 different games, he tries spinning the top with his right hand several times. Only when he switches to his left hand does he manage to spin the top successfully. This becomes even more obvious at the end of the 7th and final episode of the second season, when the frontman eliminates Gi-hun's friend. Once again, he's holding the gun with his left hand. So, had you ever noticed this before? Even if you hadn't spotted this yet, we've got a tip for you. Click the subscribe button down below. That way it's much harder for you to miss our upcoming videos. Talking about one of the new participants, the rapper Thanos, we can see he truly takes his title seriously. Just like the Marvel villain holds the Infinity Stones in the comic series and films. The singer painted his nails, each one matching the color of an Infinity Stone. This keeps his portrayal faithful to the character, not to mention the purple hair we highlighted in our previous video. As mentioned in our previous video, during the dialogue between frontman and Gi-hun in the white limousine, There's a reference to the blue and red pills offered to those who either want to escape or remain in the illusion created by the machines. We spotted this duality of colors appearing in different scenes up until the 3rd episode. However, in the 4th episode, we see this color symbolism again in the stickers placed on the glass door of the restaurant, where the ship captain and the deceased Mr. Kim's henchmen are eating and talking. Additionally, on the same door, there's a sticker featuring a pink and white symbol, reflecting the show's official colors, especially pink, which appears repeatedly throughout the initial episodes. Speaking again of the blue and red colors, in the 1st episode of the new season, we noticed the water dispenser in Gi-hun's room features 2 taps, one red and one blue. This might seem normal for indicating hot and cold water, but considering the show's themes, this detail feels much more intentional, don't you agree? Another moment showcasing the duality of the Matrix pills in the Squid Game universe becomes evident when we see the pills wrapper Thanos uses to get completely intoxicated. The pills are blue, red, and even some shades of yellow. We all know that Squid Game is a global phenomenon, and the producers are very aware of that. In the 2nd game, where teams of 5 had to complete childhood games within a time limit, small flags from various countries were scattered throughout the gaming area. Had you noticed this detail? Furthermore, the walls of the gaming area are painted with clouds and a bright blue sky, giving the setting a sadistic tone. This aligns with the frontman's home from the 1st season, where his brother found a book about Rene Magritte, a painter famous for his depictions of clouds in the sky. Undoubtedly, among the participants, the quirkiest one is contestant 044, who calls herself a sea shaman. In the 2nd game, called 6 Legs, the environment is decorated with numerous rainbows. At the same time, her hair tie features all the rainbow's colors, along with blue and white, which mirror the clouds painted on the walls. Surely this isn't a coincidence, don't you think? Continuing with the theme of colors, as we mentioned, there are multiple rainbows in the 2nd game area, emphasizing childhood games' nostalgic and twisted nature. To recap, the rainbow colors are red, yellow, green, violet, and blue. Interestingly, one of the games, Gong Ig, involves playing with 5 stones. In the Squid Game version, each stone is painted in a different color, representing one of the rainbow colors. Additionally, each stone features a symbol. Unsurprisingly, the symbols align with the game's organization. 2 stones bear circles, representing workers. 2 more display triangles, representing armed workers. Finally, 1 stone has a square, symbolizing the leaders or managers overseeing everyone else. Another small yet fascinating detail can be spotted on the shuttlecock used in the Jeggy game. If you look closely, the central piece of the shuttlecock features the 3 foundational symbols of the game organization, the square, triangle, and circle once again. This wraps up our video, highlighting 23 references and Easter eggs we found in Squid Game's 2nd season. If you'd like to explore more details and cool facts about Squid Game, you'll likely see a suggested video popping up for you right now. It's worth checking out. So, you know the drill. Let the games begin.